Here's the question. How do you make the impossible possible? Simple. Remove the I am, the ego. Now, how do you step into that newfound possibility? With a series of small intentional steps. Never forget, the greatest among us started from humble beginnings. But to truly unlock your potential, realize you're here for something greater. If you're yearning for more than just a good life, let's take that small step together to reach greatness. Welcome to the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, where we're talking to those who have gone from mediocrity to motivated, overlooked to overachieving, forgettable to unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, hello, everybody. I'm back, and to sum up my last week, I've started listening to a book about lament. Now, do you know what lament is? It is basically the practice of sadness and sorrow, but it's below the surface. It's more than emotion. It's kind of savoring and cooking in the fact that things are not going well, that things are hard. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself. It's just really good for it to be revealed. And I stand I stand in judgment a little bit of the culture I'm in right now, that comfort and things going well and not success, but like prosperity, I guess, is just it's determinate. Like we're supposed to be that to some level or other, and those that aren't are somehow less than. And I have stood in judgment at times of people. I know a family that has had so many struggles. And the husband, well, he and I were pretty good friends, and he died. And it's not when it got bad. They had struggles. He had physical issues to the point where the job that he had in his 30s and I think into 40s, he couldn't do anymore. And then he had to stay home and ended up on like disability, Social Security or something. And ended up just kind of dying from being docile. Now he's a good guy. He had a great heart. He loved God. But man, the things that happened in his life, just so many, one thing after another, that led to troubles in his life. And I look at his wife still lives, and we spend a fair amount of time with one of his daughters, adopted daughters, and we love her and she's great, but she's also a little bit the product of that. And I don't know how to describe it. There's a sadness that comes with her, that she wants comfort. She wants what her parents always sought, which is a life that there's nothing to be critical of, that there's no complaining in, because it's a life of comfort. And she doesn't have it either. And honestly, neither do I. But no matter if I have it or not, I still have this resignation. I resign myself to the fact that God is good, and that God cares, and that God has always been faithful. And indeed he has. I've got a long list of what I call monuments. And monuments are a firm thing. They're something that stays, perhaps forever, or at least marked. And I have a long list of monuments in my life that are solid, that remind me of what God did and what God is doing, and what God will do, because God is God. That being said, it's a book about lament, and I just started a chapter on complaining. And apparently there's a place for that, and I'm looking forward to getting into that. And maybe I'll share more about it in a future podcast. Okay, so I'm going to do an announcement. The announcement is this, that for those of you local, a few weeks ago, I did a tribute to my friend Jeff, and he's been on my mind. He died on Friday the 13th. That was February, a couple of weeks ago, and I did a tribute to him. And we have a service coming up, and it's on April 4th at the Grange in Malala. So any of you local that might be listening to this, 2 o'clock. It's on Grange Street. And so 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock on April 4th. That's a Saturday. So that's the invitation for any of you that might be local that might be hearing this. I'm going to get it out on Facebook and other places, and that'll be great to do that. So that's the announcement. I get these great emails from people. Um, and the fantastic part of that there's a lot of learning in them, teaching, and you got to sift through it because they're daily emails. And so I get 5 a week. And then one guy, I get 10 a week, and some of it's advertising because he has a platform he sells and uses. And one day probably get to know the guy, meet him, because he seems like he's a really smart guy at business and business theory, and I'm looking forward to meeting him someday. But this one is a coach of coaches. And I get an email every day, and some of it's gobbledygook, but this one was a good one. And he said 7 random thoughts from the Olympics. That's what this one's about. And I'm going to read through these. I'll expand a little and just throw some stuff your way, but glad to consider what we got here. All right, 7 random thoughts from the Olympics. Uh, Stop running when you should be fighting. I'm not exactly sure in which context. He's a Canadian. In his previous email about the Olympics, talked about the Canada US hockey game, and perhaps that's kind of what he's talking about. But I don't disagree with this, that sometimes you need to fight a little. Sometimes you need to cause a little bit of a fight. Sometimes you need to cause a scuffle, let's call it, between you and another person, you and your team and another team. Um, but but the good thing that I've noticed is that staying to fight can be misinterpreted. There's no doubt about that as egotistical or prideful, which is typically don't do it. But it also can reveal respect, a need for respect. Like you will respect me because I have my own thoughts and my own actions and my own fight in me that I'm not done yet. Um, Especially when in a athletic competition coming from behind, or in the game of life where you're having issues with a spouse or another person, and sometimes you need to take a few minutes and understand, and then stand your ground on certain things that you're convicted about. So don't run. Stop running when you should be fighting. Number two, you need to work on being a teammate as much as you do being a great player. Here's where I have the lament is several people in my life have seen fit not to be a great teammate, kind of with me or in on teams that I'm associated with or peripheral to. And I think, I mean, an easy example that won't hurt anybody's feelings is a little bit at work, but is at church. Like I think there's a lot going on there, so many changes and stuff happening that I think, why don't we consider the entire community, because we are like a team, before we change a million things? And sometimes I look at that and I say, my goodness, we're not being a good teammate in this context. And then he kind of goes after this. So number two, let me read it again. You need to work on being a great teammate as much as you do being a great player. And then he says the best team wins. And that's where I think that sometimes we can, in business, in organizations like church, in organizations like family, often when we hunker down as a clan, a team, that we actually can really make some headway. And I think about my immediate family, and I think how there's been, of course, it's the way it is in families. The little things get splintered. And I think, okay, we can do a lot better. And wouldn't it be better for everybody if we did? And the best team wins. Number three, a great coach will tell you where to look, but not what to see. And I love coaching. I do love coaching. Uh, I'm trying to figure out if I start a coaching business and do that in my next stage of life and wonder if I have the moxie to help people know where to look instead of what to see and to pull back far enough to give examples. Okay, this is what you need to look for. But so I'm trying to figure that out right now. And then losers focus on winners and winners focus on winning. And in business, a lot of times we do that. And I think, what are we doing? We're focused on the fact that we're this and that other thing. It's like, stop. Let's just go win as much as we can win. Let's go get yeses. Let's go see what we can do to procure relationships and keep things solid. Make things solid and then keep them. And then under that, he has another one. He says, important that you clearly define what winning is for you. And each of us have a different spin on that. I know winning for me is very relational. And if the team can't win, then I honestly typically don't want it. Now, sure, I like feeding my ego, but that only goes so far. But if we do it as a group, as a team, then man, that helps. That really gives me life. It's easy in a game event like hockey, skiing, bobsledding with clear, defined timeframes and outcomes. It's very hard in relationships, business, and life. So sports is a great anecdotal example of winning, but life, relationships, business are not as easily defined as this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're going to accomplish. And then let's build the metrics. There are metrics in business, no doubt about it, but let's build the metrics to get there. It says here, take time out of your day to create rules, time frames, outcomes that define what winning is for you. And it's good to think deeper about that. And I've been doing that lately, and I am not solid on every part, but I'm working on it. Here I am, 62 years old, and again, I'm working on it, but because I've spent 40 years in business almost, and most of it for the sake of my family and paying the bills and buying the house and paying the electric bill and all of those things that now are not as extreme of need because I'm a little later in life, and I not only do I see it different, there's a few more dollars, there's been a rhythm. So I think, yeah, I think defining what those time frames and outcomes are, it's time and being forced to do it a little bit, which is good. Number five, your life shrinks or expands depending on your level of courage. And I do agree with that. I don't tend to have a particular level of courage in a lot of ways and in a lot of things and in certain things. And I think I think that I need to dig deeper and often sometimes write down my thoughts, share my thoughts, go an expanded version, and then either throw the paper way, or if I really believe what everything I said, then hand it to him. Here, judge me if you want, but here's what I just said, and here's what I meant. It's all there in black and white, and uh, be more clear. So, still working on that. Look for reasons to advance, not retreat. And yes, there's some context in my life where advancement is really important right now. Moving forward is really important. And I need to look like it, be it, whether I feel like it or not. Just move forward. And that has to do with courage. It has to do with fighting, not running. So there we go. And then your momentum is your focus multiplier. And in many ways, I need momentum. I need more momentum in my life. And I resonate myself with this. Again, this is Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast. And I'm looking for greatness. I'm looking for greatness in my life in any way I can find it. Honestly, I want to do better. I want to do more. And it's not because of achievement. It's because I feel like I'm here for greater purposes. And so I'm always striving for greatness, not just greater. And so do that with me. So that's the name of the podcast. And then when I get some momentum, I need to actually keep it. I need to keep it instead of allowing it to be stolen from me. And that's often what I do. That often we as humans, we allow ourselves to have it stolen from us by someone else that isn't with us, that isn't feeling the same way, that isn't liking what we like, and doesn't care what we care about. All right, some bonus thoughts the guy gave. So it could be 9 things, probably. This one's from Michael Jordan. You don't strive for greatness. You do all the right things, and it's bestowed upon you. Oh, man. I want it bestowed upon me because I'm doing the right things. That hits me right between the eyes because I've done so many right things in my life, but I've done them, some of them, many of them over the years for the wrong reasons. And so the greatness that could, even should have in some ways come out of it, did not come out of it because my motivation was ego. My motivation was pride. My motivation was piousness. And I shouldn't have been that way or done that. But I want greatness, so I need to do it with clear motivation, with correct motivation, that I'm here to transform myself and transform others in the process. Double bonus thought could have been number 9 had it been phrased that way. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the effort and the action. This is what I know. When it comes to what I said first about reading this book or listening to this book about lamentation, lamenting, is that I need to go deep on that just for a minute. I don't need to hang out there. I'm not there the rest of my life. I do need to be happy. When I'm around my grandkids, I need to be jovial. That's what they need from me in those moments, and I am. But there is a sense at times that even in that jovialness, there's this seriousness, and it's rough. It's rough. And so I would like to get back to that adventurous, what's the term I used last week? Kind of a whimsical approach to relationship with my wife, to relationship with God, with relationship with myself that's full of adventure rather than stagnancy. And so that's what I'm committing to you, to myself to do. Let's see. So that last one is you can't control the outcome, but you control the effort and the actions, which I can. I can control that. And often I take the easy way out, and I should not do that. But here I am, slugging away, and I'm begging you, telling you, asking you to do the same with me. All that being said, let me finish saying Like quoting my good friend that someday in heaven I will become friends with, Zig Ziglar. You were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. You were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Now, my friend, go be